Hi and welcome to Rainy Day Crafting. Okay, today I'm going to make a wedding card. Okay, this is what I'm going to use. If I just move these out of the way at the moment. Okay, I'm now going to do a wedding card, but you can do any card you want. If you've got some dies in your stash, get a die out and just as much as anything, I love to be able to sort of share, I suppose, my mistakes, knowledge, whatever you want to call it, in such a way that, you know, you can adapt some of your dies you've got. I've made myself this resolution this year. I'm actually not going to buy anymore. Maybe at some point I'll show you around my office here, because I have got quite a few bits and pieces, you know. But, you know, there's bargains to be had, isn't there? But anyway, less of that, more or less. Anyway, the cards, I often use my square cards, but today I'm actually using these Pearlescent cards and envelopes, 50 pack. You can get these from Hobbycraft, The Range, online. 50 pack, they're acid and whatever free if you need to be that. But you can obviously get them all in all different sizes. And as you can probably see, if I just sort of tip this, it's got a gorgeous backing, basically, hasn't it? The only thing what I do, which I shall show you what I do, I shall be where I have the card. It's not an over big. It's oh, what size is that? Is that I think it's A5, isn't it? Anyway, that's the size I'm going to do today, and I'm going to do a wedding day card. So let's just pop them out of the way at the moment. What I'm going to be using, if I just show you in here, like I say, you know, you might not have this one, which is quite fine. The company, sorry, or you know, the is actually this X-Cut, which again you can get online, you can get in The Range. Printable Heaven is a brilliant online company, and they often have some great deals. Printable Heaven, and I use them a bit. So, but I'll probably actually try and do, because we've got the Chinese New Year coming up, haven't we? The is it 1st February? End of the month or whatever, anyway. So I'll probably do something on the sort of Chinese theme. Okay, so anyway, back to what I am doing. So with this, how I store these, because these will come in with a magnetic backing, okay? And I just cut the top off. So be careful, it can be a bit jagged. And then I store them, it's actually in a clementine box, okay? So I've got them all like that, so I sort of flick through them as and when what I want. You know, obviously I've got all different ones. At some point, I'll show you. Oh, hang on, no time like. I want to make this quite a quick one. But let me just quickly show you, nothing like it. Whoa! Do you know what? It's surprising how dies can be so seriously heavy. So how much can you see? Can you... I sort of have a little look. Obviously, I sort of, these are where I got my cod liver oil bags. I reuse as much as I possibly can. So yeah, so I've got a few of this particular make. They are good, but like I say, I just chop the top off and bonzo, you've got it sorted. And then just now, while I'm here quickly, these are my other dies, again on magnetic sheets, which you can get online. And then, like, I've got all tags and labels, bows, flowers, lady butterflies and ladybirds. It goes on and on. Balloons, they're not in no sort of real order, but I just put tags on the top with a bit of sellotape in one of these little sleeves. And obviously I just flick through as to what I want. Okay, oh, here's another one of that make. Yeah, so anyway, that's, I can't say that's all my dies, but because I've got others. But anyway, one of these boxes, I keep meaning to actually pretty it up a bit, but you know, it does what it does. So and that allows me to sort of flick through them quite easy. Right, back to the plan in question. Okay, so got some pretty papers to use. Look beyond the paper sometimes. I mean, you can see I've already cut one of these out earlier. This one's really turns out quite pretty. But I'm going to do, well, let's do a greeny one, okay? But sometimes this is a really, really old. Sometimes, even though that looks really in your face, doesn't it? But if you could imagine that, then cut out sort of mainly pink, or, you know, that would be, you know, you'd pick up some different colours, but you'll see in a minute what I mean. So I'll pop that one out of the way. So I'm not going to show you stage by stage, because I've got things that I've already done earlier. So let's just put these to one side. But I will just show you as I run one through. and a little bit of a tip. Okay, so let's do a green one. Yeah, let's do another green one. I've actually done one earlier. No, hang on, let's have a little look. So get your Big Shot or whatever you've got out. Then they come with plates. For anyone who's literally new to me, the base plate, that plate. There is the other one, I don't know when I'm done with it, a red one. But what I tend to do, I am a bit naughty, so I don't keep, I started off keeping one plate on top so you don't get the cut marks. But if you use, keep your bag of packaging, any packaging, you can put that as a layer in between, as you'll now see. So I take, there's like the other, there's a red, that other layer that goes in there. I take that one out because it feels it's too thick. So now I'd put, doesn't matter how many times you use something like this, put that on there like that. That gives it a bit of a cushion. Hopefully you can see, okay. And then with this, all I've got to do, like I say, I've got lined up here. So we're going to go like that. This, you could tape it down, but I am a little bit one of them things, well, it's not going far, is it? Oh, might help if I put it the right way around, mightn't it? So I think I then, aha, that's better. Okay, so that's there. Let's move these out of the way. Top plate on. Okay, and then, that's right, I might move. Creak a bit like my joint, like my joints. Sorry, it's a bit of an old one. I've said that a few times now. Right, so that's then done at the ready. Slip that off there. Put this out the way. Okay, so obviously that's cutting out the whole shape as it is. And now this, look how, because you've got this underneath, okay, that's now probably had it, but I've put it through a few times. Isn't that really quite pretty? Yeah, so, you know, so look at your papers a bit differently. So none of that's in your face. It looks quite pretty. And by putting that bit of packaging underneath, generally, a lot of it is already poked out. You might have to sort of go back and do the odd bits, but there's not much there to worry about at all. Okay, so there we have. Now, what I have already done, let's clear these up. I've gone along, same principle, because there's no point showing you loads, you know, the same bit over and over again. But for anybody new, I might just send the first one through. What I then do with the edge, this is just, you could even use, actually, you could just use your print paper, you know, if it's sort of reasonable thickness. This isn't over thick, this isn't print paper, but at the same point, it's something I got in my stash. So for each card, I would cut out 2 of these, okay? So this is just literally your edge. Let's pop this out of the way. Because what I'd be doing, yeah, I'd stick one in there, because I think generally this cards, although they're beautiful, it's hard to, you know, write on those cards. And that just sort of finish it off a little bit, okay? So then, let me just show you. That would then, might help if I put it the right way around. Can you see? That behind it. Oh, might help. It's the right way up. Okay, gives a really, really lovely effect. Look at that on your card. This is quite a quick card to make, you know. I mean, okay, I appreciate that I've done the sort of few things up front already. But there we go. So that's that. And if you, I've cut out some of this mirror card, which is quite gorgeous too, just so you can see how this can give quite a different effect, if you wish, on a card, okay? Yeah, so quite lovely. So what I'm going to just, oh, and just a tip for this, just bash it a few times. And okay, there's a few left, not many. Paste to sort of keep them cleaned out, because not that it's not going to work, but you know, if there's a build up of bits in it, it's obviously sort of and then more or less out in your bin. Right, so back to the card in question. So for now, let's do this on the back. So what I would do, oops, there's two there. Okay, stick this down. Old lid. You can literally stick this down. You know, with I do use these lots. This is where you just put your glue in it, and then a sort of very sort of precision. Okay, stick this down. But what I would then do is stick this down with some glue. Which I mean, this is just look. This one is PVA glue. It uses sort of. Well, if I show you, hang on. I'm sure you're thinking, yes, I can stick. I tend to use all my scrappy pieces of paper when I'm doing things like this. But use quite a bit of glue actually, but then this glue is pretty inexpensive anyway. Okay, so on a little bit of makeup sponge, you buy them in that cheap shop, you know, you get about 30 in there, don't you? And then what I do when I finish, I just rinse it out, because I think it's water soluble, isn't it? Water based. It just rinses out. I take it into the bathroom, put it on my radiator, so you know, until they sort of fall apart, I keep using them. So whoops, literally this will sort of get in all the nooks and crannies. Okay, so that is that. Probably then make sure you're out the way of where your glue was, although it wouldn't matter too much because you're then going to be sticking it. It's always a little bit harder to do. This glue sometimes will allow you to sort of move it just a little bit to make sure you're in the right place. Do you know, it's actually, it sounds strange, but it's actually hard to sort of, other than having to see my hair, lean this forward in such a way. Now, you could either place something heavy on that, but because we're sort of now doing this nice, yes, slightly out, but I think there's nothing to worry about. Then turn it over. A bit more. So, you know, you could just put you know, a fine on this, but this makes it nice and even. Nice even spread, so it shouldn't sort of miss bits. There's nothing worse than, you know, a card turning up and bits fall off or something. Yeah, so then onto your card, make sure you've got it in that open situation as to where it's going. Pop that on there. Like so. Okay, but if I was now just doing these cards, you know, to whatever I need them for, I would be putting a weight on there, something like a block, a book, whatever. Okay, now while we're here, might as well just do this bit as well. Anyway, this is the inside. Like I say, I just think it finishes the card. It just makes it a little bit more right. Just move that. That's going inside the card. You could literally measure it all up, but this is just by eye. Okay, so that's ready. That, like I say, there. Now let's just get rid of this. It's on my file later. So in this particular set, I want to show you, these are the other ones I've already sort of pulled out. That was, hang on, did I show you the green? That was that green. If I just show you on a piece of white how effective it is. Yeah, So if you wanted to do, you know, you could do a bit of a job lot. I have got a lot of cards I make. Obviously, I give them as gifts and things, and obviously use them as cards. But I'm planning, she says, to do an event at some point. And this pinky one, when you sort of look at this card, yeah, and that really does look quite lovely, doesn't it? Well, as you can see, there's a few bits still to poke out in there. Yeah, so just go along with a pokey tool, which pokey tool, don't know what they're really called. This is a Sizzix one, but you don't have, if you're new to this, I think the biggest thing I want to say is do not rush out and get loads of things, because you'll be surprised how much you've got in your own house possibly. Here I sew as well, and look, just you know, a regular pin will do it. An old ballpoint pen that's, you know, had its day. You know, that would, you know, you don't have to go out and get a pokey tool. But what I was going to say is, but that's always little gifts if you then get into the crafting. I think once you're a crafter, though, there's a little bit, oh, that's good, oh, that's good. But you don't have to have everything, yeah? I think there are some real basic things that you do need. But, so, there we go. So that's that one. So now, I'd already done these. And what was I going to say? Oh, I think I did use some old card, white card, that was sometimes when you wreck a card and get it a bit wrong, I still keep it, because then you can use it as baselines for this. But what I then do, how I then stuck that on there, if you wanted to, oops, you could put it straight on there, yeah, and just stick it on there as it is. Or if you want to build it up, what you do is do that same principle, you know, with your I can't think, you know, with your little bit of sponge. Okay, I'm sure you're all going, yep, sponge Sarah, and you could stick as many as you want to build it up so it sort of pops off the card if you wish. So that's some different ideas. And then this one came with the happy ever after. It also came with those on here. These when they come with the you know, with the magnetic, it is handy. So that goes back on there, that goes back on there. And so just for easiness again, I keep these little pots, any little pots, and I'd cut out, you know, obviously out of any of my sort of scrap bits and pieces that are around, I'd cut out some hearts. So then I stuck some hearts on the card as well. Now there I would probably just do, if I'm doing this, I would do this. I could do it with this, because there's probably quite a bit of glue still on this. Ooh, on my fingers now. No, it's not that much on the, ooh, it's a bit sticky. Let's move that out of the way. One of these little bottles. Okay, many as you like, really. And then a couple here, maybe. So, like I say, many as you like. You could put a couple inside. I think my bottles need filling. With this glue, it does allow you a little bit of sort of wiggle room too. So if you sort of end up putting it not quite where you want it, maybe. There, okay. Then obviously these would go on here. All right, whether you raise them up and it pops. But what I want to show you, because we're there, obviously just gone back to this. I've done this way. This one in particular is literally cutting that out of your main bit that you put on the card. So, you know, play with it. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. Anyway, here's a couple I did earlier. All right. So, you know, it's whatever. Yeah. So if I just pop them there, obviously that one's just left at the minute without that. I don't know how well you can see. This one is just the one layer of the Happily Ever After there. And this one is 2 together, okay, which makes it just pop a little bit more. So then what I would do, like with this, oh, I think I didn't stick that down well enough. I would leave something heavy on them for a while, probably one at a time possibly, till they're really dry. Now, as you can see, that one then come off again, but it's okay, maybe it didn't want to be in there. Now, just another little tip, when I now put these away, this is going to go back in here in its glory, but that one I shall stick later, and I should probably stick them all later. But if, for example, like I've got these to use on other cards, you can tuck them in the back here. So, you know, if you've suddenly got to make up a card, sorted. Even down to the fact these are cut out, there's no reason why you can't tuck them in the back there and ready for another card. So you can quickly do one. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. If you like, if you haven't already, push that subscribe button. I've got a couple more subscribers. I'm very low on the subscribers and views, really. But I don't care, because if one person enjoys what I'm doing, that's a win-win for me. Okay, so anyway, till the next time, just to say, I'm planning to release, is my plan, release a card on a Tuesday at 5 UK time and a Thursday at 5. So I plan to do 2 a week. Okay, so till next time, see you soon. Cheers then.